Vernon. This is kind of near downtown LA as we continue to follow this police pursuit. Susie, we see this so often, the driver just kind of maybe ad-libbing, trying to figure out what to do on their own, and as they do that, they just kind of drive around in circles.
Sure, and as we wonder why they're driving in circles, why not getting on the freeway or going somewhere else to another neighborhood? Perhaps they're from this area, perhaps they're familiar with the area, perhaps they know someone in the area, but it's also curious why he or she is turning those lights off and on.
Yeah, well, maybe they don't know the car very well.
Another hoodie, don't want to go back to jail.
We don't know what the want is on this
Gonna have a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Speculating as to the reason why they're acting like that, but we've seen that before with somebody who's not really quite certain with what the vehicle has, and so they're kind of fiddling around with the controls. Not that that's the situation here. Maybe they think
just another punk.
Blend in. I don't know. Let's get back.
Probably a carjacking.
Desmond Shaw. Des, this driver. I don't know if you have the speed check on it yet. Do we know how fast they're going?
Just been going about 30, 40 miles an hour, maybe up to 50 a couple times. Here you see, I just put the speedometer up for us here. We're right at about 30 miles an hour, but speeding up and braking very quickly here. And it's just strange that he's had the headlights on and then off.
He's got the popo on his
I believe this is a BMW
behind right there.
With the headlights and the brake lights off all the time. Not completely certain. If it's not a BMW, it might be a Lexus. It looks to be on the upper end of the car spectrum. Actually,
helicopters chasing
my
him.
faithful car guru friend is telling me this may be a Chevy Malibu, actually. So, yeah.
You need to get out on the highway. That can pick up. I've been in this
going over some dips.
Chevy Malibus.
Coming out there as he speeds up over the dips. But yes, hanging around the same neighborhood. Jeff and Susie, like the one we covered earlier this week in South LA, where he was really just going in circles.
Not as fast as a Dodge, but
unfortunately, some tense moments at the end of that one where a bunch of people came and gathered and got way too close to the active scene there, and that was an armed and dangerous suspect. So we certainly hope that we're not going to see something like that, but now we are seeing
another day in Southern California.
As we're on Slauson, so as soon as he gets on a major street, we see the speeds go up and then making a turn from the middle of the roadway back onto, we're now in Gifford Avenue, but still kind of hanging around the same general area, blowing through some stop signs. Unfortunately, haven't seen
this is going to be good for the ratings.
Cross traffic that has been up around and has gotten pretty close to those vehicles, and there you see already somebody coming out to take a look at that. And the more he makes circles in a neighborhood, and the longer he does that, the more likely we are to see people come outside to witness what is going on. I mean, they hear the chopper blades constantly going on in their neighborhood, and they see the flashing lights out of their window. A lot of people
you always got to be careful.
What the commotion is, but now we'll see
looking for trouble.
Where this takes us, but continues to be in the Maywood Huntington Park. We were actually maybe back in Southgate.
You might drive onto
this chase began.
your front porch.
Southgate PD is on the ground there behind this suspect vehicle, and we're chasing possibly a black Chevy Malibu, a small compact. But it looks like they're not speeding through these neighborhoods as we often see, which is very scary to watch. So that's a little bit of good news there. We don't know a lot of things about this. We don't know what this person is running from, why they're running, how many people are inside this car, what transpired perhaps before this chase began. So a lot of questions tonight, but we do know that the police obviously want to get this guy.
Yeah, the driver behind the wheel of this car here, we do not know what the want is on this. The vehicle, as you can see, is blacked out. All the windows are blacked out. Of course,
they're basically just talking. They don't know anything about this driver.
Now, more erratically and faster, up to almost 60 miles per hour on these surface streets. Des, where are we right now in Southgate?
Now we're in the
I'd love that helicopter job. Just hang out of the
on
helicopters.
the wrong side of the roadway for absolutely no reason at all. He was already in the center, going right up against the yellow, double yellow line there. So that was kind of scary. You saw him just get over on the other side of the road for no reason at all. So District Avenue, we're now in the city of Vernon.
Probably trying to make himself famous.
Really kind of like a ghost town because Vernon's pretty much all industry. That's actually their town motto, exclusively industry. Almost no one lives in this town. And so once these warehouses and industry all shuts down for the evening, you see how wide open these streets are. Hasn't encountered any cross traffic. So that was the only relief there as he, for whatever reason, decided to cross onto the wrong side of the roadway. But on Leonis Avenue, named after the founder of Vernon, one of the founding families, and we'll be over towards the 710, see if this continues into the city of Commerce. Lots of little jurisdictions around here, the south of downtown Los Angeles, lots of small cities.
This
Vernon,
fool's gonna get
Commerce
himself
has started,
caught.
You know, in Southgate, we went through Maywood.
Got
Huntington
nowhere to
Park,
go.
Huntington is another small community around
No
here.
plan.
He'll be in Commerce as soon as he crosses the 710 freeway, but it looks like it's going to be Southgate PD, maybe backing off just a little bit at this point. Again, on the wrong side of the roadway. Why is he doing that when he's not even trying to get around any traffic that's in front of him? It's just now, you know, we're definitely starting to see the dangerous driving here. Still on Leonis Avenue, and we are, you know, I got a little bit turned around.
Let's hope nobody gets hurt.
At this point, so
Very
headed
dangerous.
towards the city of Los Angeles.
Dangerous situation here.
I will tell you that
We
that
lost the
is
feed.
One of the better things about that, you see the speed is picked up,
I know.
Susie, but at least it's in an area that's more industrial. We don't see as many pedestrians or people out and about.
That's
So to
true.
make a left-hand turn, this is going to be the sheriff's chopper overhead as well, Southgate PD. This black vehicle, blacked out windows.
Turned off his lights.
And Susie, we don't know what the want is, but he certainly is driving like it might be something serious.
Yeah, it's true. And you know, you were talking about how he's speeding right now through this industrial area, but when he was on those residential streets, we were noticing him really slowing down, using speeds of, you know, between 15 to, 30 miles an hour. So I don't know, maybe he's being a little careful.
I don't know what he did,
Perhaps,
but he must have done
not
something.
intoxicated, because he seems to be heeding some sort of precautionary warning, at least in the residential areas. But here you can really see
Must have
him
left the
stepping on
burner
the
on. He's headed back to his house.
And you just wonder with the wide open streets if that's the reason why he's opened it up a bit. Those intersections there, the residential areas, you had the parked cars a little bit more narrow. So you take a left-hand turn. Once again, the lights back on. We've seen the lights turn on and off, and then back on, and back off. And now
He
they
thinks
come back
nobody
on.
knows where he
You
is.
know that this person knows that the police.
All of Los Angeles knows where he
is
is.
behind him, and we have seen the night sun from the sheriff's chopper that has lit up this vehicle at least one time, almost looking like it was getting ready to make a turn there, Susie, but slowed down and just continued going forward.
Desmond, where are we now?
He's got a criminal mind. He's going to
This is
jail.
really one of the, I believe the first street where we actually heard this was, we had heard Atlantic and 54th, so right on the edge of Southgate.
Good
And,
luck,
that's,
buddy.
You know, right back where we are. We are headed back
Tell us how you like your peanut
we're
butter and
turning
jelly
down onto
sandwiches.
Soto Street. This is a street that can definitely get pretty busy, and here you go. On the wrong side of the road again, and through a red light to get through all of this traffic. At least he had his lights back on, so traffic can see. He's going to go underneath us here, just see if we can reposition around this one. But as he continues,
Looks like a Grand Theft
southbound
Auto.
on Soto Street, but just kind of hanging around these same neighborhoods. He had a green light there, at least. I'm just trying to reposition the chopper with us hang tight here, but definitely starting to see the speeds pick up to 55 miles an hour on Soto Street. I believe the speed limit's like 35.
Yeah,
on
he's
this
cooking
street.
now.
And you know, going through a lot of red lights, and we saw him going on the wrong side of the road for maybe the third or fourth time. That time to get around.
Now he's really
traffic.
cooking with
Now
Wesson.
on Gage Avenue, and now headed back to the west and South LA. If he continues much farther, it could be an issue for us as we get really close to LAX. Of course, with our restrictions there with their airspace, when there's LAPD in the LAX airspace, we basically have to cede that airspace to them for obvious reasons, and we have to keep our distance. But
It's a pretty good
he's not
chase.
There, yeah, now he's back on Pacific Boulevard, so pretty close.
It's got a
to
little bit of
Huntington Park.
everything.
And northbound.
But he still hasn't got on the highway.
Actually, I believe southbound on Pacific.
There's
Avenue.
the helicopter.
I'm just making so many turns all over the place. Frankly, kind of getting a little disoriented.
One of the-
Just always kind of looking up towards
one of the helicopters.
downtown Los Angeles and kind of using that as my reference point. It was a little bit more difficult at night, but now on to Belgrave Avenue. So you see just all of the erratic driving and all the turns. We're having to spin the chopper around in all directions just to keep up with this guy. But you see LA County Sheriffs with their helicopter doing a fantastic job with the spotlight, keeping the eyes on this one. And Southgate is
He's definitely on
still in
drugs.
pursuit. You know, some other agencies may have decided to back off depending on what the watch commander said. You know, in situations
This is a
like
commercial.
This, but, Southgate, so far, they're saying we're on this.
Anti-drug commercial.
Well, that's interesting because as we take a
Like
look
Nancy
at
Reagan
which
said,
they-
just don't do it.
They want to think this Susie, we see that very often. If it's going to be that jurisdiction,
Dare to not
police
do it.
officers there will follow them all the way through to the very end because that's going to be their case, if you will.
This
As they
fool's
continue to
gonna
follow
land
this
himself
stop.
in
I'm a little
jail in
concerned,
about
Susie,
5
that
minutes.
The driver here is really, I just don't feel like they know what they're doing or where they're going. They're just kind of making this up and ad-libbing as they go. I just kind of get the feeling that they're not really planning anything here.
Yeah, it doesn't look, it doesn't
Reminds
look
me
like
of that
it's, you know, I think
Keanu
a lot of
Reeves
times we see
movie.
patterns, and oftentimes we see
He's gotta
people,
keep it over
you know, in
50.
circles, or, you know, we've actually seen people turn their lights off and on like this before during
Might be a
pursuit, so it's
case of,
curious why they would do that, but they're trying to do
like
that.
that
And,
movie
you know, Desmond was
Speed.
talking about how, you know, oftentimes police will actually back
He's gotta
off
keep it about
sometimes, you know,
50
when
miles per hour.
traffic gets too erratic. And that's because, you know, they don't want to put more pressure on this driver. They might drive even faster to get away from them, or drive even crazier because of the
Look at
pressure and
this.
the stress of being chased by police.
He doesn't even have the
So
lights. He went
oftentimes, you know,
went
they
over
won't
through
follow
a
so
red light.
closely as they're doing so right now. It doesn't look like too closely. But oftentimes they might even back off completely.
That's
their right
dangerous.
wheels and go into tracking mode where they just have the airship overhead with the LA County Sheriff's Department. But it looks like, as far as I know, I mean, in terms of, you know, driving this fast on this street and not stopping this pursuit on the ground, it could be something serious.
You know, you mentioned something about speed, Susie, and at that point in time, it got up to what I think is the fastest in this pursuit, 80 miles per hour. This is going to be on South Soto.
He went up to 80
This is
miles
gonna
per
be
hour
LA.
on
This is,
Soto.
police chase that we've seen go through Southgate, Huntington Park.
guy's bad news.
Woods, Vernon, and around downtown LA. That's one of the reasons why we have such a wide shot is Desmond Shaw and Sky 9 has to take that wide picture because we're near the LAX airspace. So as soon as we're taking a look at this vehicle, you understand this possibly is a Chevy Malibu. It is a black vehicle with blacked out windows. So I guess that wouldn't necessarily mean a rental car. If it's blacked out windows, that probably is a personal vehicle. Officers obviously see that there's a plate on the back there. I'm sure they've run the plate, have that information, but we do not know at this point in time what the want is for this vehicle.
He's passing the Coles Jr.
Desmond, do you see those units? I mean, how many are there units? We haven't seen actually the line of patrol cars actually following them. And it's unclear at this point, too, if it's actually Southgate PD. It could be Bell PD in the area as well. But we know that multi-agencies are possibly working on this right now.
This could go on for a while. I'm gonna try to keep this short. Let's see if we can speed it up to when he gets caught.
There's at least turning from the wrong side of the road to make that wide right-hand turn as we're now on Ronde Vista Avenue. So we're kind of paralleling the 5 freeway. He has the chance to actually get onto the southbound 5 here if he so chooses. We'll see if he does indeed do that. That option will be coming up here shortly.
The County Sheriff's Department has their airship chopper overhead right now, and this is a black car, maybe a black Chevy Malibu, turning his lights off and on. Looks like they're on right now at many points throughout this pursuit. Mostly on surface streets and residential.
Carl's Jr. and
neighborhoods.
McDonald's.
Or the super, dark tinted windows. That's another.
You almost hit a
thing
car.
that will get people pulled over. You saw
Almost
the
hit a truck right there.
Had to slam on the brakes before going through that red light because somebody was making a turn. So he's been keeping DeSoto Street. Now, as we head towards Boyle Heights,
getting really dangerous.
Interchange next will be the 10 freeway, but we haven't seen any freeway at all. It's all been on surface streets at this point, but just kind of cringing with the speeds that this guy is going. Terrible tactics by these suspects to try to evade the police, but it hasn't worked so far. Anything that we've seen in the last few weeks, they've all gotten into custody. It should just be a matter of time as long as they can keep the chopper overhead, and they'll be able to do that. I mean,
Speculative, but I just have a feeling that this is not just about a stolen car or not just about erratic driving. This SWAT is for. I think there's something perhaps a little deeper, and that's why police haven't backed off, even though we see this erratic driving.
Well, it certainly acts like he did something pretty bad when he was driving like this. I don't know if you saw it earlier, Susie, but just about 2 turns back, there was somebody in the middle of the street that bailed when he was driving down that dark part of the street and just about the intersection and ran between 2 vehicles. So that's probably as close as this driver's gotten to hitting somebody. And this is nighttime.
Vernon, Boyle Heights, and it really does seem like every time this person goes through residential streets that they do slow down, and then they get on these surface streets and they speed up once again up to 60 miles an hour with the streets.
like we also saw earlier this week, it's just really, really desperate when we're dealing with people that may be having a rap sheet. As we are on 3rd Street, again, I believe that's the Gold Line tracks there in the center divider, adding kind of another wrinkle, crossing them illegally, but fortunately no train. And so apparently it is Bell PD that is actually in pursuit, and not Southgate, one of the other very small cities there south of downtown Los Angeles, where that all started. But we're southbound on Downey Road as we come through East Los Angeles. I believe we just went underneath the 60 freeway, so kind of paralleling the 710
Been
along
all over East
Evergreen
LA.
Cemetery there, and with the lights still off. They've been on briefly, but most of the time
I'm gonna have to continue it on the other side, people.
On top of it being
Almost
a black vehicle, blacked
going
out
to part
windows,
2 to be
it's definitely
continued.
been a pretty